On today's show, we talk to Susan Woodworth of the Kingston Recreation Department, local businesses at the Plymouth waterfront, hear original poetry from Michelle Lerman and Sheila Lynch Bentinen, and get a short, just the facts update on Kingston town government.
And if you're looking to learn or just have some fun, we'll also be talking about classes, programs, and upcoming things to do in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, and Duxbury.
We're glad you're here. Let's get started. Local businesses were out in full force at the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce's annual Waterfront Festival, and some stepped up to the mic with our local scene street team.
So I'm with our friend Shane. Hi, we interviewed you last year. How you been since then?
I've been good.
Excellent. What brings you back to the Waterfront Festival every year?
Just here to have fun again and meet more people.
Who are you excited to meet today?
The canine dogs from the fire department and other people.
Excellent. Why do you think events like this are important to the community?
People get to be able to give out things and be recognized.
Excellent. It was such a pleasure talking to you, Shane. Good to see you again.
You too.
I'm with my friend Jack. Hi, we interviewed you last year. How's business going?
It's going pretty good. It's a nice day out here.
Yeah, it is. So you own Ornaments by the Ocean. How has business been overall?
Business overall has been pretty good. I've gone to a couple sales this year, and they've had pretty good traction and a lot of money sold.
Awesome. What direction do you want to take your business in?
I want to push my business, go to more sales, and make more ornaments for people.
I love it. Jack, thank you so much for joining us today. So excited to see you.
You too. Thank you guys for the opportunity.
I'm with Jake from Mastria Hyundai of Plymouth. Welcome. So excited to have you here today.
Hey, so excited to be here. This is my first time at the Plymouth Waterfront Festival, and this is more than I imagined. They described it to me in one way, and this is even beyond that.
It's a great event. So you just purchased in May. How's everything going?
Yep, so it was under Roundtree, great family, good family, well, not family friends, but friends with our CEO who ended up getting pretty close to him. We bought it in May. The first week was pretty wild. I hadn't purchased a dealership yet with the group. I've been there since 2016, but we haven't had a new building yet. So this is our first new building, and the building's beautiful. It's brand new. It's about 6 months old. So unfortunately, due to health issues, that's why they sold. So they put up a new building with all these plans, and they unfortunately had to sell. But it's been a great opportunity for us, and it's been so much fun. It was a learning experience because opening a dealership, there's a lot of moving parts to a dealership. That a lot of people don't realize.
How was it coming to the town of Plymouth?
It's really cool. Actually, I've never really spent time here. As a matter of fact, the opening day was my first time seeing the Plymouth Rock. So
really?
I had never seen it. I think I was on field trips, but just didn't look at it, I guess. I must have walked right by, but I got to see Plymouth Rock. I got to see the Mayflower too. I didn't realize how much there is to do around here. You always hear Plymouth. I never even realized how close it was to our other stores in Raynham.
Yeah.
So it's great. Plymouth is one of my favorite places now, not just because I work there, but I'm here now more than ever, and I'm loving it here.
So what part of the festival are you most looking forward to today?
Honestly, I hear the food trucks are phenomenal, and lunch is on Mastria today, so I will be enjoying maybe a lobster roll if I'm feeling really, really lucky today.
Sounds amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Have a great one.
You too.
Roll into the spooky season on Sunday, October 19th at the Pembroke Community Center Trunk or Treat event. Decorate the trunk of your car, bring some candy, and wear your Halloween best to welcome kids to come around and collect their treats. There will be vendors and other Halloween treats for your little ghouls and goblins. All proceeds for the Trunk or Treat event after expenses will go to Autism Eats, a group that provides autism-friendly, non-judgmental environments for family dining, socializing, and connecting with others. There will be a prize awarded to the best decorated trunk. This event is fun for the whole family, starts at 11 a.m. and will go until 2:30. To participate, you can sign up by emailing treasuresofourhearts2@gmail.com.
Walk the line to the Phalo Room on Monday, October 6th for a night of Johnny Cash songs and stories. Two-time Boston Music Awards nominee Matt York will perform tunes of the legendary Man in Black and tell tales from Cash's emergence as a groundbreaking country artist in the 1950s to his musical and marriage partnership with June Carter and other career highlights along the way. York has had a career of highlights himself, opening for stellar alt-country and rock artists including Rhett Miller, Jim Lauderdale, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, The Motels, and many more. Johnny Cash, Songs and Stories starts at 6 p.m. Register to reserve your spot through the library's website.
We sat down with Kingston Parks and Recreation Director Susan Woodworth to learn more about this fabulous community resource.
We oversee four significant locations in our community. One is the Font School, which is a small school we use for programming, the Reed Community Building and the properties there. We also oversee Grays Beach Park and the Opachinski Athletic Complex. We also partner with some of the schools, which is fantastic, the Kingston Elementary School, the Intermediate School, and also the high school for programming partnerships as well. The Font School is great. It's just a one-room old building that doesn't have a lot of parking, so there's some challenges there. People can use the library parking for that program. It's great for some of our not-for-profit community organizations like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or some of the other school PTAs, things like that, that can utilize that space. We also run our summer preschool program there. The library utilizes that facility as well. As far as Grays Beach Park, same thing there. When we do large community events, there is some parking management that needs to take place for some of those big events, so that can be a challenge in that location. The Opachinski Athletic Complex, which is our biggest complex in the community as far as for athletics and lots of other things. We have basketball courts there. And then the Reed Community Building. That building's almost 100 years old, so it's a really special building for us. But we do have a lot of space in there, and we've recently added some cooling system in there. It was an old building with no air conditioning, so that's been a challenge over the last few years. So that has allowed it to be more accessible for us in the summertime. And same thing there, it's really parking seems to be the limitation on most of our properties that we oversee. At the Reed Community Building, pretty much that's a lot of where our programming is held. We do offer that space sometimes for, again, community organizations to run meetings and things like that. And then down at Grays Beach Park, we have a pickleball program down there, and they utilize our tennis court that's been lined with some markers for the courts down there. They're not pickleball court specific, but it works out really well for them. Athletic complex is used primarily for the youth sports because they do run year-round except in the winter time. So that's pretty much used. We do sometimes allow organizations to use the fields as well. We do have some adult softball programs that aren't run through us, but they'll actually rent those fields out. So that particular complex is utilized mostly for sports and athletics. Grays Beach Park, this time of year, we've got some great community events. We do music nights. We try to work with our local musicians, and that's open to the community. You do not have to have a park sticker to park there for those events, which is great. And then we work with the Kingston Farmers Market organization. We don't manage the market, but they do that, and we help support that particular event. I think without these locations and without the services that we can provide to maintain those locations, it makes our community not really be able to have those opportunities. And I think just the music nights alone, we get so many different young families there. We've got older people that come. It's just a opportunity, again, to bring people together and either make new friends or to just decide that they want to be a part of our community. And we have people a lot of times that will reach out to us and say, is there anything we can do, which is really helpful. It's not necessarily always doing more, but it is just really paying attention to what people are asking for. And sometimes it could be more community events, sometimes it could be more individual programming. So it really depends. And like I said, our collaboration is probably the biggest thing for me that makes me get excited about what we do.
October 10th's Friday Folk Coffee House at the Duxbury Senior Center will feature singer-songwriters Lisa Sheldon and Richard Breck, who will be setting the room aglow with acoustic Americana covers and originals. There will be free coffee and refreshments, and the music starts at 10 a.m. in the Ellison Large Side Room. Registration is now open. Head to the Senior Center's website now to reserve your spot.
Sheila Lynch Bentonen is next, reading her original poetry at an America's Hometown Laureates event at Uva Wine Bar in Plymouth.
And next we have Sheila Lynch Bentonen.
Thank you. I always start with haikus. Allergy season. A fog settles in my brain, like scene from Sherlock. This next poem is about trying to be happy during times of war. Small lessons. She has decided to stay, to paint with war around her, in Kyiv, in Ukraine, with Russian bombing. She has decided to live doing what she was born to do and not run away from the maelstrom. Monet's studio, September 1914. At the height of his artistic powers, large water lily canvases everywhere, surrounded by ground troops. World War I rages in the trenches. He defiantly says, if those barbarians wish to kill me, I shall die among my canvases in front of my life's work. I am taking small lessons from the brave on how to breathe deeply, how to admire peonies, how to adore irises, how to smell roses, even though the world rages and madmen rule with brutal power. The owners of Uva Wine Bar, their kids grew up with my kid, and we watched them all grow up together. And I used to think rhyming was a poetry crime and not sublime. And I've changed my mind. Iridescent moon. Iridescent moon. She was 3. She was the stars and all the planets to maternal me. Mommy, lift me high so I can touch his round face. A joyously memorable time and place. I lifted her to the night sky. She still stretched, never quite reaching the moon, but she will always try. Now she has grown, she doesn't need a lift from me at all. She's packing, leaving home. She has spun her own orbit now, her light shines bright, but I will always remember the 3-year-old trying to touch the moon night. This is for Michelle and Katie, who own Uva Wine Bar, which also just opened down in Mashpee, also a new, if you're down the Cape. Uva Wine Bar ditty. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Most men like cold beer. Most women like Cabernet at its zenith. A bar on this street serves ale and hot dogs. Uva Wine Bar serves Riesling with Chèvre logs. Toast to pilgrims and wampanogs, whale watches in Plymouth Harbor in a fog. Sip while you can, the grape's delight. Tomorrow is a mystery we all have tonight. And the last poem is called June, June. June, June, big fat strawberry moon. Peonies make me swoon. June, June, longer, longer days. School is almost out, hooray. June, June, walking the beach at night. Let's pretend everything is all right. Thank you.
Do you have a great idea for a business and the passionate drive to make it happen? Take it to the next step and build the legal foundation of your new business idea. On October 15th, the Kingston Public Library will host lawyer and Kingston resident Sean Hagan of Long, Hagan, Huff, Harris for Starting a Business, Legal Steps Every Entrepreneur Should Know. This informative talk will take place at the Adams Center and will provide guidance on topics like choosing the right business structure to how to protect your intellectual property. The discussion will run from 6 to 7 p.m. and registration is required. Sign up through the Kingston Public Library's website.
Historical insights are often revealed between the stitches and swaths of clothing people wore. The incredible and extensive collection of historical clothing archived in the Hedge House Museum is a fabric window into the social status and daily challenges of life during the Revolutionary era. On Tuesday, October 7th, the Plymouth Antiquarian Society is hosting a talk about how clothing in the 18th century Revolutionary America spoke to grief and remembrance in culture. Historical clothing parlor talks, mourning needlework, and accessories will look at material culture, from embroidered mourning pieces to accessories replete with symbolism and sentiment. The talk starts at 2 p.m. and will be an hour long. Cost is only $5 for members and $10 for non-members.
Dave Antoine is up next with a Just the Facts update on Kingston government on the local scene.
For their single meeting of the month, the Kingston Planning Board gathered once again at 26 Evergreen to reorganize the board, look at a site plan review, and approve meeting minutes. The reorganization of the board resulted in Tom Bouchard once again taking the reins as board chair. The board then moved on to their main agenda item, a site plan review of 363 Bishops Highway as part of MAP 104 Lot 2. This is to renovate the existing building space for an inpatient rehab facility with additional parking. An attorney representing Longview Realty kicked off the review. The site has served as a convent, assisted living, and group housing with a proposal to now turn it into an alcohol and drug treatment center and residential rehab facility, one that will also be presented before the Zoning Board of Appeals in relation to a special permit. Their attorney mentioned that they've had pre-site plan application meetings with Town Planner Valerie Massard, a former building commissioner, and the staff of the fire and police departments. The former, along with Conservation and Sewer, didn't have any additional comments, while the police requested the addition of a fence, one that was put in an updated plan. The site is essentially coming under the ownership of Eddie McGrath and Kayla Florence of Rockland Rehab, an organization now celebrating 5 years. As a partner in Longview Behavioral Health, Eddie spoke from personal experience, having conquered long-standing addiction issues over a decade ago, a drive that gave him the passion for getting others on the path to treatment, citing the history of the first sober house they established. Following up on the planning and logistics with Scott Farnar of Grady Consulting, Scott discussed the new repurposing of the building that would require any new additions to the space, which has 2 buildings. The main focus was adding additional parking to the space, with plans to add a double catch basin that would redirect any additional stormwater that would surface. The consulting firm was hoping to continue using the board regulation, limiting the maximum scope for a 6% driveway space with the aim of not adding a new driveway. Valerie Massard chimed in, providing highlights of a drafted report, such as a history of the building, the need for a special permit as a for-profit entity through the Zoning Board of Appeals, its Zone 2 status with water, needing a water quality certificate due to the request for additional parking, and an update on the private septic system used by that site. The board inquired about the actual operations of the site, with co-owner Eddie McGrath answering that it will be a 24-hour staffed operation with medical services on site, along with daytime services for its patients, which is expected to be about 20 people. As for its residential layout, they're planning on having up to 60 beds split between the two buildings. Following the town planner's report, along with comments from a peer review, the board voted favorably with the site, praising its location and more. Wrapping up their one and only August meeting, Val discussed filing that their office received for a special permit of converting a space above a commercial site on Old Orchard Lane, a potential agenda item that would not be visited until a November 10th meeting, given the impending special town meeting. This has been your Kingston Government Access on the local scene.
Here's poet Michelle Lerman in a reading of her original work.
We're going to welcome another new reader, Michelle Lerman.
I've been wondering if I was going to be tall enough. Very new writer. So first I want to thank Hometown Poet Laureates for having this event, and Paul for hosting and inviting me to this. Also to encourage me. My writing, my poetry has been coming out literally in the just last couple months. Don't know quite where it's coming from. I suspect it's being channeled. And also, I just want to reach out to Michael Shea. So the poem I'm reading now is a reflection of how I felt this past Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, to reference your son's joy. And I remember those Boy Scout Saturdays, by the way. The weather reminds me of that last day. Damp, cold, rainy. A day one would prefer to cuddle with a book, a warm blanket, a cup of tea. So much to do, though. A basket of papers to cull, bills to be paid, new plants to be potted, choices to be made, inaction preferred, no energy to proceed. Pretend it is just another day. Ignore the honoring, afraid to open the floodgates. Unbox the remains of a childhood uncompleted and decide what must be kept, what can be given away for another's joy, what should be tossed. Drag out the boxes, gaze at the finite memories, photos that end at 5 years. Sit, try to remember the smell of her hair, the sound of her voice, the touch of her hand in mine. Her clothes no longer hold her scent. Her fingerprints on toys last touched no longer provide connection. What's left is mostly recall from photographs taken, just a few now, from memories of our too short time together. I did not know then how I should have treasured them, fixed them in my mind, wrote them down, chronicled each day, hour, minute. Still, there are moments when I feel her lying on my chest the same way she did the night before she left. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, and for sharing such a personal experience. I think we all felt it. So keep coming, please. Okay? And I mean that sincerely.
Want to wield a lightsaber or sword like a true hero? Children age 7 and up are invited to the Duxbury Free Library for an introductory course on stage combat, with an emphasis on sword fighting. While dressed in comfortable clothing they can move freely in, kids will learn fundamental techniques drawn from both Western fencing and Eastern disciplines, all while prioritizing safety. Instructors will provide all necessary safety gear, which must be worn at all times. Fight like a Jedi. Intro to Stage Sword Fighting will take place on Wednesday, October 22nd from 3 to 5 p.m. in the Mary Room. Registration opens on October 8th through the Duxbury Free Library website.
The modern concept of the singer-songwriter, a unique self-contained performer, one who is the lyricist, composer, singer, and instrumentalist, was a development in American popular music that began to take off in the early 1950s and developed as a growth out of the folk revival of the 1960s. Learn more about this fascinating genre of American popular music when Plymouth songwriter and musician Michael Shea presents The Rise of the Singer-Songwriter in American Music, from Bob Dylan to Joni Mitchell to Billy Joel, at the Kingston Council of Aging on Tuesday, October 14th. Michael Shea will perform a 75-minute set of songs from some of the most famous of this genre, from Bob Dylan to Paul Simon to Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, Bonnie Raitt, and more. He will be threading in biographical and historical facts and anecdotes in between each song he plays, creating an evening that will be a musical immersion into the history of this popular genre of music. You can register for this event through the Kingston Public Library's website. The event will be held at the Kingston Council on Aging at 30 Evergreen Street in Kingston.
History will take center stage on October 11th, starting at 6 p.m. at Pilgrim Hall Museum for Revolutionary Voices, Plymouth Debates Liberty and Loyalists, an original one-act play by historian Patrick T.J. Brown. The play brings to life the tense years leading up to the American Revolution and the debates of Plymouth's Committee of Correspondence. Drawing directly from primary resources including 18th century letters, resolutions, and documents, the heart of the story is patriot and political thinker Mercy Otis Warren, whose sharp commentary still resonates today. There will be a fun Q&A session after the performance with Mercy Otis Warren biographer Nancy Rubin Stewart and the cast of the show. Tickets for this rousing benefit for Pilgrim Hall Museum are just $75 and include an opening reception with light refreshments and a cash bar. There will also be an Adopt an Artifact silent auction where your winning donation will go towards supporting the preservation of rare items, such as Mercy Otis Warren's needlework card table and Wampanoag records linked to Zariah Gould Mitchell. Visit the museum's website to get your tickets.
In today's job market, likability can be your secret weapon. But how do you stand out and get people to like and hire you? On Wednesday, October 22nd at 1:30 p.m., the Duxbury Free Library is holding an hour-long insider session on how to ace interviews, craft winning resumes, and boost your job search strategy. The session will be led by Ed Lawrence, a certified professional resume writer and founder and principal of Get Start Ed, through which he offers practical job search advice, resume writing services, and skills assessments to help people transitioning to a new field of work or looking for meaningful employment. Whether you're polishing your pitch or starting from scratch, you will get tips on how to help you get hired faster. Head to the library's website to register and save your spot. Walk-ins are welcome too.
And now, let's turn a light on local. Part of our mission as a media center is to welcome members of the community into our studios to record their own show or podcast about subjects that matter to them. The resulting content reflects the diversity of thought and opinion in our neighbors and neighborhoods, but not necessarily the views of the local scene staff, board, or director. We are a platform for free speech. Simple Healthy Life is a video podcast recorded right here in Studio B and hosted by community producers Ryan Gibo and Michael James. Enjoy this clip from Simple Healthy Life.
If not all dreams, then at least some of them are pretty clear, right? Like you have a rough day and then you go to bed and you have nightmares on the exact thing that you experience or your future fears or whatever, masked in some sort of symbolism. to me, I think it's pretty obvious. Like your brain is communicating something subconsciously. And, I think it's pretty naive to think that it doesn't mean anything at all. I'm okay with people arguing the utility of that. Like, is there utility in finding meaning there? But I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that there's some meaning. It's not complete gibberish.
No. Well, I think we talked about this a little bit. The book, The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. We talked about this or no? On the podcast a little bit?
A little bit.
So essentially what he talks about is like, he interviewed a whole bunch of very successful people like the Carnegies, the Fords, like this was written back in the 50s and 60s. And, they all had the same stuff in common, right? And part of it was imagination.
Mm-hmm.
They all essentially realized that in order to become uber wealthy, you had to convince yourself, you had to imagine yourself, you had to hold this vision of yourself in your mind of what that would look like in order to create a path to get there.
If you like what you saw, find more of Simple Healthy Life on Xfinity Channel 6 or Verizon 43. Or visit our community producers YouTube channel at Community on the Local Scene. And that, my friends, wraps this episode of The Local Scene this week. Thank you for watching.
If you live or work in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, or Duxbury and would like to have your own show or podcast, you should. Email community@thelocalscene.media to find out about our free production services and training for community members.
And if you have a story or event you'd like people to know about, email us at story@thelocalscene.media.
We thank our patrons Tiny & Sons, Quintal Brothers, and Squinny's Pizza for supporting our mission of community in action through media.
The Local Scene this week. We'll be back next week with more of what's good and good to know in our area. Until then, we'll see you on The Local Scene. Hello, friend. If you enjoyed this video, please think about scanning the QR code and making a contribution to The Local Scene. Every dollar is appreciated, and your support helps keep community media alive and our resources free to the community. We'll see you on The Local Scene.